Feature Friday.
The freshest. Alright, so this has been one of the most requested videos lately on Instagram DM. So if you want to send some of your requests, you can do it on my Instagram. It's down there. You can check it out. But this is one of the most...
Fine, but definitely follow Walucha, WLSK15. Blow her up. There's so many of you here on YouTube. Because sometimes we don't know what might happen. It might disappear or something. So we would love to get in touch with you guys through Waleska's Instagram. Go follow, explode her Instagram. And it's always nice that then we can discuss that way. We also do lives there every now and then. So, yeah.
And this comes through that, some of those requests. And this is the most popular thing between Pritam as a composer and Arijit as a playback singer.
And he has my favorite actor that I've discovered through the Indian movie industry, Aamir Khan. Love that guy.
And that is an intro, people.
I have to say, we just did a review of Bajirao Mastani. It's gonna drop on Feature Friday Plus at 12 p.m. UK time, and we checked out those songs prior to watching the movie, right?
Some of the songs.
So now when I watch these songs, I'm like, I have to watch the movie because it will add so much. But anyways, go on.
Yes. Oh, what the hell happened? What was that?
I think the feathers clicked the mouse.
My feathers. I'm telling you, I'm just dropping feathers everywhere with this dress.
I feel like they're leaving for maybe university or something.
Well, there's something way deeper than just leaving. This looks like a farewell with no return.
We will check out the lyrics at the end.
Not in the immediate future. I just would like to highlight the beautiful equalization for his vocals here. Opening up it as an a cappella intro is always quite a tricky situation. Given studio, given live performance, whatever the environment might be, working with an a cappella intro is always quite difficult.
Like...
And then you get an introduction,
right?
Yeah, and then you get an introduction to the environmental sounds, which is very synth driven. But up to this point, you are also opening the vulnerability aspect of the emotion right off the bat with an a cappella intro with high reverb, usually very well utilized in film to amplify emotion, and that is a really good introduction to
Let's continue to break this down. It's quite an intricate piece.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's like an immediate return.
Well, you have the definite prevalence of this the fading piano in the background, right, which is kind of creating this feeling of longing, but longing yet with no return, because it's so constant, but it's not becoming louder and louder and louder. It's becoming simply more environmental.
What is beautiful about that specific detail is that the vocals are still very much foreground. The piano is like a longing memory in the background.
Hey, Amir! Dude, that guy, he can look however. He's like who's the actor that can change his look? And he can take off weight, put on weight, and then he changes completely how he looks.
Oh, there are several.
The guy that played Batman.
Oh, yes.
And he also plays that.
Yes.
Was it Tom Cruise? Yes. That not Tom Cruise didn't play. Well, he did play Batman at one point, didn't he?
No, he did not.
No. Well,
are you Christian Bale?
I think it's Bale.
Yeah.
He played Batman, and then he also played this guy who was anorexic, basically. He was like a starving person.
Yes.
And mental. And
Yeah,
his
I think it's
facial
Christian
structure.
Bale. Yeah.
And then he he went like a bit overweight at one point for a...
Jared Leto can do that too.
Great,
he's great,
actors.
yeah.
Go on.
They just morph into these characters.
Just look at him.
they?
He looks so different to Three Idiots.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Well, this is also a long years after.
I'm sure he's maintained in shape.
Oh, definitely. But you can see the the embodiment of the character.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. The voice. That is brilliant. I'm telling you, everything on the music production so far has been so vocal driven that even with the background music.
So impactful.
And the still is still
It's so
on the
impactful.
background,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's still, because often in these moments in the song, when the instrumentalization gets included in the music aspect of it, it's brought to the same level as the vocals, right? So it's more often than not, they're on the same frequency level. In this particular case, everything is behind the vocals, and the vocals are so far front that it feels like the whole music, the whole instrumentalization of the song, it's like a memory. It's like, I don't know, like it's background painting to something that's right in front of you. I don't know, it's very wonderful.
What was that instrument? You hear that?
Yes. Yes. See, I told you that goodbye, that said...
He ain't coming back.
Yeah, that was definite as a goodbye for a good and a little while.
Oh, he's a sportsman.
I think it's a girl.
A sportswoman, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that a harmonium or an accordion? Pause. Perfect time to highlight also what these movies are getting better and better at, which is, and also it seems in India they do it better than anyone else. So you have the harmonium or the accordion playing.
It's a harmonium.
I think it's probably a harmonium. Playing probably the most disruptive chord progression yet. Alongside the transition of the shot of the look of pity.
And not only that, but there's also a swell of the string section as the cameras are shifting focus. It's so really well thought through.
Perfect.
It's not only the musical composition by Pritam that is outstanding, but also the direction of the film and how it's being driven.
It's really congealed.
Indeed, it's like the thought process behind the song. It's not it's not a bird's eye view. You're seeing from different perspectives within the play.
He does look like a proper father.
Oh, I understood. He used to be her coach.
Yeah, and she's a cricketer.
A cricketer.
I think those are cricket bats.
Oh, I thought it was more like wrestling. I think it's like an actual impact sport. Because in the scene before, you see people kind of like wrestling.
Those are cricket balls. Those are cricket balls.
Cricket balls.
Those are definitely cricket balls. Go on.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, those are definitely cricket
This
balls.
one's over here.
Yep.
Ah, right. I just don't play cricket. I don't know.
Neither do I.
That's not a ball. That's like a pole or something.
Yeah, I think those are cricket bats.
Ah, okay.
It could be. I'm not sure. It could be wrestling. True, yeah.
Dude, how much of a great actor are you? Like, that without physical motion, without actually speaking, you feel.
Yeah, that's a man pondering. That's a man in wonder, in pain, but also somewhat in.
There's pride in that man too.
Prideful.
Yeah,
weird.
I just don't. I would like to highlight the beauty of that type of natural acting, because to get to that point where you can express so much with virtually nothing directed in that manner is just absolutely stunning. It's award-winning type of acting. I think it's wrestling.
Well, it seems he went through the same thing. It seems, right?
Wow. That's a unit.
Huge.
That guy is a unit.
Huge. Go on. That's a student?
No, that's the younger brother.
Alright.
You know what's interesting
Younger
though?
sibling,
in this, there's like two younger siblings. I think the girl that went away, the younger boy that we're seeing right now. The movie is called Dangal. Yes. So yeah, you have. I think it's
a wrestling.
Wrestling. Yeah. Aha! I called it.
Yeah, it's just those look like cricket bats in the back.
I think they were just poles.
It's the story of Mahavir Singh Poggat, a former wrestler, decides to fulfill his dream of winning a gold medal for his country by training his daughters, their two daughters, for the Commonwealth Games, despite the existing social stigmas. Right.
Right.
I see.
You know what's really interesting though in the
2016.
whole nice in the emotional journey that we're seeing so far. I know what it's like to leave your family behind, and that representation of that departure, that goodbye, and everything else that happens after. It's so palpable here, and we haven't heard a single dialogue, just meaningful, beautiful music, and everything else is just pinpointed in the music video.
I'm sure many people will be able to relate. I mean,
yeah,
even if you haven't left your family or whatever, you just still have left things behind. You have still made sacrifices.
Yes.
And you have still probably done things that go against the grain and try to do things that are unachievable. In maybe in a small sense, in an intermediate sense, or in this ginormous global scale Commonwealth sense. Go on.
Well, that's crazy.
But they've just faced so much
adversity up to this point. Oh, and so suddenly.
It's so interesting because, like, in this section here, right? Mm-hmm. Like in the mid section, this is fucking the best scene I think I've seen in a good while. Because, like, if you look at the representation of the bags, right, like, that definitely symbolizes the weight of his two daughters, right? Now that we know the story of this. Mm-hmm. No, don't take it off. Then the world, it keeps living, right? The world keeps going. Doesn't matter of your burdens, doesn't matter how much weight you're carrying on your shoulders. But he's head down, so definitely something dramatic has happened in the movie at this point. Mm-hmm. And the movie is sort of exemplifying that same feeling. That's why the harmonium is such an interesting instrument, because it's continuous. It never stops.
That's right.
Right, and even when in the performances of rag, or in the practice of rag, it's the only constant instrument throughout the whole performance. So it's alluding to the sense musically, to the sort of constant, non-stop nature of life. Right, and then visually, it's also being captivated in this really damp, sad, and harsh sort of environment. Which, by the way, that is essentially, if you do decide to be a wrestler, that is going to be a lot of your life. Damp, harsh. They just develop some sense of grind that is like no other sport.
Unnatural, yes. drinks.
It's so good. That is so good, and
It's brilliant.
That was the thing we were discussing. Of we just literally did the review to Bajirao Mastan, and that was one of the things that we were discussing. It's like the interesting thing about the cinema in the Indian music industry and Indian movie industry is that everything was truly done congealed with each other.
Yes.
More in the sense that theatre applies it here in the West, rather than how movies do.
Or how movies used to be, how Hollywood, to be more precise, used to be back in the 40s up to late 50s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something that Hollywood evolved out of. And I think Bollywood grew into or maintained. Because I don't know what Bollywood looked like in the 40s. I'm barely getting to know what Bollywood looks like
In the
overall.
2000s.
Overall, so I think it would be a fair argument.
Let's look up the lyrics.
Yes, of course.
I have to be honest, I have heard parts of this in a live show that you guys sent me of Arijit. Hence why we're being a bit more methodical than ever, because I am quite familiar with the melody of this one. Not the lyrics though. So it continues, it goes like this. This fake world is temporary. My pain is true. Oh beloved, this relationship of ours is a delusion like a mirage. Rain Basera literally means a place to stay at night while traveling, which signifies temporariness here.
Oh, cool.
Naina means eyes, which used to dream together. They have cried such on separation today. So maybe one of them got accepted and the other didn't. Maybe one of them got discriminated against. Maybe one didn't. Maybe one qualified. Maybe one didn't.
Don't know. The younger girl looked pretty young, so maybe she was still in training.
Maybe he had to kind of stop being a head trainer, and someone had to take over.
No, well, she goes off to the Commonwealth.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to stay with the younger
siblings. Yeah.
And the eldest daughter has to go off, and she can no longer be coached by her father.
Yeah, I think she's going off to compete. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's what the separation is, that he can no longer coach her anymore. You see what I mean? They have cried such on separation today. Eyes which used to stay the nights awake together, they shut such in the morning now. Steps have gone apart, which had taken this oath that they've always be together. That's what I mean. The separation, the promise that they made to each other, father, two daughters to train together, perhaps, is now broken. That's why the sadness is. And now this pain is born together by the wet eyes.
You know what's really beautiful? In the chorus, Naina,
Is it Naina?
Arijit says it in a way of like ne, like a
Naina.
like a sound. In Spanish, the word nena actually means young girl. Like it's an endearing term that often fathers use for their daughters. So even
like
in
baby, but in a
it's
much
like
more...
baby girl. It's like a little girl.
Exactly, not baby girl in the more flirtatious thing. It's more like it's like little girl.
Yeah, there's a sense of ownership to that too. You know, like
it derives from the word nene, which is literally means
little kid.
Yeah, that derives from the word bebé, which means baby.
That's right. So but there's a affectionate connotation to it.
Yes.
And so it to me, even in Spanish,
sounded beautiful.
There's a beautiful connection there. Yes.
The breath is shocked, the heart is troubled, wondering why my life is about to cry. Oh, that's such a lovely sentence. Why is there hope lost to disappointment? Why is there a storm of questions in the heart? Maybe you made the wrong choice. Maybe you chose the harder path that's actually impossible, and there's too many things against you, right?
So much weight that it doesn't actually finish at the with a gold medal.
It's also quite interesting in wrestling, right? Because wrestling is one of those sports that commercially he hasn't figured it out. It's the same as jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is starting to figure it out, but combat sports, unless it's MMA, and MMA, realistically, I mean, you have a couple of really big organizations like UFC, Bellator, One Championships. You have these Cage Warriors. You have these big organizations. Now Equal FC by Habib, he opened his own promotional promotion, mixed martial arts company, organization. But wrestling, you don't watch wrestling on TV. You don't know any wrestlers.
I thought wrestling was particularly exclusive to
to
the Olympics. Yeah.
And I think maybe it's not exclusive to Olympics because you have obviously the NCAA championships. You have the
I didn't know about any
in the
of
USA.
that. Right.
You know, you have collegiate pedigrees of wrestling, which means you do it in college.
Right.
I'm sure in India you also have wrestling championships, and you have the world
National,
championships, national championships. So, but wrestling hasn't figured it out commercially yet,
Right.
where people can buy pay-per-view and these people can actually make some money. So to chase a gold medal, the dream is that the money, because the Olympics is an amateur competition.
That's right.
So that means there's no money involved, not the level of it. That was the first time I learned that. I was fucking mind blown, because in tennis it works differently, very, very differently. But in general sports, Olympic sports, it's an amateur competition. You can enter simply if you pre-qualify for the Olympic teams, and you don't get paid. Everything's paid for, but you don't get paid. You don't make any money, zero money. The money comes, hopefully, if you make
endorsements after that.
if you become enough, either a
Sponsorships
personality,
and-
or you become, you have enough big enough performance that you win some medals, you come back home, you're a hero, hometown hero, then, Nike comes at you, or maybe local brands want to sponsor you, and then that's where
That's
the big
crazy
money
to me. That's
comes.
crazy to me.
And you can maybe make it out of the hood. You can make it out of the squatter settlements. Maybe you can put food in your table. But it's such a rough pursuit. Because if you don't, that's
it.
4 years
Yeah.
of your life prior to the Olympics.
I
Go on.
thought that was such a the idea of the Olympics being the maximum goal for an athlete.
Yeah.
And still be
Still is for
seen,
many.
and still be seen as an amateur competition where they don't get paid to even compete. Dude, that to me was crazy, because I remember when I was training as a swimmer, I wanted to get federated. I got an offer to get federated. So
Father
we can
used
go-
to put a bit of context, apologies to
Yeah,
interrupt.
that's all right.
Father used to coach the national
swimmers,
team
yeah.
in Venezuela, and for
for
swimming.
our state, yeah.
Yeah, and then just it was the state championships, and then some of these athletes would then go on and be coached then by
The national
higher up coaches at the
competitions,
national level, and then the national level they would go hopefully to the world championships, and they'll go to the Olympics and things like that. My father never coached athletes of that caliber. Maybe
think he did.
maybe he had a couple that went to the Olympics.
I think it did, yeah.
But they weren't under his umbrella at that point. But definitely, a significant part in their journey. It's quite a fun bit of my father's story.
Actually, yeah.
And so ballet, I guess naturally wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, so I remember the process being laid out in front of me. Obviously, I didn't want to take it because that meant that I couldn't sing anymore. That I had to swim 24/7. And I was like, actually, I want to wear tutus. So, no.
And
But
also
yeah.
for what, right? Like that was the
For
always the
what?
question.
Yeah.
Like
So
swim.
that made me question, okay, so I become a pro athlete, and there you go, everything that I do, it's this sport.
Swim, yeah.
The swimming is just training and school and training, and that's it. And I remember thinking, okay, my older cousins and other people from my family were already federated in other sports and had gone internationally to compete, and I used to see them coming back home, and they were at the same. They were so exhausted. They had worked so hard. They had all these medals and things and amazing awards and stuff, and they went back to the same gym to live in the same house with the same food stamp struggles, with the same everything that they left and they worked so hard for to come back exactly to the same point. And that to me was like, and I was young, and I remember seeing that such a disheartening reality.
Well, the counter argument to that is a lot of people, especially if you go to the Olympics, a lot of people. One of the arguments could be you do it for different reasons. You don't do it for the economical reasons.
Of
You definitely do
course.
it for the glory, for the sake of competition.
For the passion for the sport
Yeah,
itself.
that's definitely the counter argument to that. I mean, what do you do it for? And at the end of the day, it's like such a personal journey. It's like maybe you don't want that. There's other ways to pursue that. And at the end of the day, if what you work towards, then when you do get there, maybe if you do, because it's a very hard journey. I mean, there's no guarantee that I would have gone on tour. There's no tour that ballet would have gone on to come to part of the Olympic team of Venezuela. There's no guarantee at all. Maybe it's even far-fetched. Who knows? But what definitely there was a guarantee that you could play in your head is, okay, let's see if I get there, will that be meaningful enough for me to
That's right.
for the hardest journey that I'm about to undertake? And
the answer for me was pretty simple. I
yeah, for
didn't
some
see-
is
yeah.
no, for some is yes. But that is such a cool take for a movie. I
is.
have to watch this one now because given the whole, sports and that's so interesting. Well, guys, let us know what you guys thought about it. It definitely does. Again, good music sparks conversation.
Great videos spark great conversation.
And let us know what you thought about it. And goodbye.
That's right.